to you, I guess. Yeah, I was at Roy Rogers' Buckaroo. We had to wear. I actually even met Roy Rogers. He came in and shook my hand and told me I made a good burger. So you know, after that it was all downhill. All right. In front of you, I put some packages of some stuff that I put together over the past couple of days. There's some one sheets on us. Some other things that I'm working on. The frequently asked questions. I discovered that a lot of people don't understand what it's like to work with a creative person or a designer, or understand how visual people think and process information. And so I came up with this might be your first time working with a designer or creative person idea. Visual people are very different. We think differently, we see differently, we see the world in pictures and color and shape and form, and not necessarily lines and things, and that's, or numbers and words. And that's why math is so difficult for me. The other thing is the frequently asked questions. I was getting that a lot. I was getting a lot of questions that I thought I can answer really quickly. General questions that always might stop people from wanting to engage with us. One of the things that I want, and all of this is online too, among other things. Our portfolio is online, and I brought a copy, pardon me. Anybody wants to look at it, it's online as well. One of the things I want you guys to think about us is, thinking about us as designers is sort of limiting. Design is sort of the vehicle to get your marketing and branding messages out. And so that design can take many forms. It can take email messaging, it can take print materials, it can take your website, social media, video. All of those are vehicles to get your marketing and your branding out. And so the marketing aspect is your vision, your concept, what makes you different in the marketplace. You all have that. You all have a passion. There's a reason you got into what you do. Whatever that reason is, that's what we want to touch into, and that's your marketing messages. The branding is making sure that that message is consistent across different ways of saying about it. So you may have different constituencies. So you might speak to group A, prospective clients, differently than you're going to speak to current clients. But you want the messaging to all be the same. You want it all to be consistent and cohesive. And if you're just doing the design aspect of it, you're kind of missing the broader part of it, which is the branding and the marketing aspect of it. I've been really playing around a lot with Twitter lately, and trying to see what engages people, what gets people to react. And we've had a follow rate of about 40%. Which I thought was okay until I realized that the average is like 20%, so I guess I'm doing pretty good. And we also followed how many people are tracking us, how many impressions that we make, and we're gauging our impressions. So every month we're going up, and so it's an interesting way to gauge and kind of experiment with what people are doing, or how to engage them and get their messaging across to them. The big thing I wanted to talk about today was really how to refer us. How do you talk about us? It's one of those things that everybody thinks they know, everybody thinks they understand graphic design. One of my favorite, questions I always get asked is, but I have a nephew or a niece that can do this in Word. And, more power to you, good luck. If you want to base your entire business on a Word document, then go for it. Hopefully it's a really great Word document and it really gets things across, but you're kind of cutting yourself short. You want to make sure, you want to treat your clients like gold. So you want to make sure that everything that's going out to them, every little tidbit says quality and excellence. Whenever I talk about the company, I think you guys are the only people that know, is that I work from my garage. When I talk about it in public, people think that I have like some big high-rise office in Irvine. And so, fine, go ahead. But that's the idea, is I want people to understand that this is a confidence in the company through consistency. I also want everybody to think of us as sort of your one-stop marketing department. We don't work for our clients, we work with our clients, all right? I have a very varied background. I've done a lot of stuff in my life, a lot of crazy stuff too. But one of the things, where was I going with that one? Okay, it's too early. One of the things that I want you to think of as is one-stop marketing. So we are your marketing and branding graphic design department. Call us up with a question. Call us up and ask us, can you do this? What do you think of that? One of the things that I love about Val is Val does that. She calls me up and says, I just spoke to somebody and they're trying to sell me this product of this, this, and this. Do you think it's a good idea? Or I want to do this and that, and do you think it's worth it and can it benefit me? The thing that we are most concerned with is I don't want to do anything that we can't sort of figure out what your return on investment is. I want to be able to track, okay, we've sent out X amount of postcards to these zip codes. This is sort of the turnaround. We want to track everything. We want to see what's successful. So we will look back next year and say, okay, last year we tried all of these things. We hit this target number. Where are we going to go? All of you are trying to grow your business in some way and talk to a specific group of people. And that's what we want to get you to. We want to help you facilitate that connection with those people, sort of cut out the crap that's in between you and get you right to them. So whatever we can do to help that, social media messaging, Facebook posts, any kind of sort of guerrilla media that's out there. The idea is to get them to engage so that they hear your message multiple times. If you send out one postcard for something, you're probably not going to get any response or a very, very minimum response. People have a very short-term memory these days. We're at the 140 character kind of group. It's not that people don't read. It's that people need to be engaged, and I do the same thing. I'll read the headline of an article, maybe the first 2 or 3 sentences. If it's poorly written, if it doesn't grab me, I move on to the next article. It's not that I won't read a full article, you've got to engage. And so that's what we want to do. We want to get them to engage so that they constantly keep hearing that, Mark has flat rates. Every time they hear that, that's going to stick with them. It's going to remind them so that when they do have that need that pops up, hey, we need a lawyer, and I know one that's got flat rates. So that's sort of the goal that we're heading towards, is kind of being your sort of overarching department for anything that you need. When you want to come up with a campaign, come and talk to us. Say, I really want to grow my business by 25% over the next 5 years. I want to increase sales, or by the next year, I want to increase sales by X amount of dollars. And we can sit down and figure out a plan how to get you to that. So how it would hit on social media, how it would hit on your website, what would you mail out to drive all that traffic to your website and your media. I think that's pretty much about it. There was a lot of visuals, but the other thing is a lot of people I have determined, or I figured out, are not sure of the process. And so one of the other things that we're trying to do is be as transparent as possible. So I try to give people design briefs. I try to give them timelines, keep in touch with them as much as possible. I want you guys to be part of the process. It's not a vacuum. I'm not designing for me, I'm designing for you. And part of it is you get to have the fun of working with somebody doing something that's building your business for a change, rather than, talking on the phone to clients or vendors or those kinds of things. So, all right, I am down to 2 minutes. So are there any questions? Yes, ma'am.
You mentioned the experiment you were doing on Twitter. How can you find you on Twitter? Design on Twitter?
Yes, it's at Sakona, is our, which would have been on a slide if we had it. The reason for that was years ago, the company's been around in multitudes of different ways since about 2000. The design office itself has actually been going since about 2005 as a functioning, in 2005 I said I'm going to do this full time, no more part-time stuff. But I had the domain at Sakona US for 10 years, so it was cheaper back then to buy it. But it's also a reminder, it was, again, more cats. It was 2 of my first cats, and they died when they were in their late 20s, so it's sort of a reminder of them. But yes, it's at Sakona on Twitter, so don't be afraid to follow us. Any other questions? Awesome, thank you.